Alright, so this video is going to show you guys how to use the properties of exponents to simplify these large monster looking problems. My technique is 4 steps, and as I said in class, if you do these first 2 steps in those orders, then you'll get this problem 90% right most of the time. If you start freestyling and doing your own thing, I can't guarantee you're going to get the problems right. But I find that if you do these first 2 steps right, it usually takes care of all the issues that most people have. Alright, so go ahead and looking at this problem. Step number 1 is to distribute the exponents. So I look for parentheses and I see an exponent outside. So I'm going to distribute. But first thing I need to notice is that number 2 right there, -2, got an exponent of 1 on it. So I'm going to go ahead and write that 1 in. Now I can distribute that 6 to the 1, the 5, and the 3. So that turns out to be, on the bottom, -2 to the 6th power, y to the 30th, because you multiply the exponents when you're distributing, and I'm sorry, I said x to the 30th, y to the 18th. The second step says to move, flip negative exponents. So find your negative exponents. So just the bases with the negative exponents. Notice that this 2 is not a base of that -2 exponent. And what happens is, since you have a negative exponent, they move to the bottom. So I'm going to write this y to the -6 on the bottom, but write it as y to the 6th. And I'm going to write this x to the -2 on the bottom, but write it as x squared. Okay. Now I'm just left with 2x squared times 2y to the 6th. Alright, so that takes care of steps 1 and steps 2. Now for step 3, let's go and combine some terms that we got. These 2's right here, the coefficients, we can multiply those. 2 times 2, that's 4. Since y squared and x squared and y to the 6 are not the same, we just leave it as x squared y to the 6th. On the bottom, -2 to the 6th power, that's 64. And I got y to the 6th, y to the 18th. We know we could add those since it's all multiplication down there. So 6 plus 18 is 24. And I got x and x to the 30th, x squared. Add those together, we get x to the 32nd. Alright, that's combining. The last step is to cancel the terms, or better yet, simplify. So 4 over 64, we could divide both of those by 4. We end up with 1 over 16. We got 2 x's on the top, that's what x squared means, it was x times x, and 32 x's on the bottom. And if we cancel or subtract, since there are 32 x's on the bottom, there's going to be x's remaining on the bottom. How many x's? Well, 32 minus these 2 mean there are 30 x's left. We're going to do the same thing with the y's. There are 6 y's on the top, 24 y's on the bottom, and since we're going to subtract, since there are more y's on the bottom, there's going to be y's remaining on the bottom, and 24 minus 6 is 18. Nothing else to simplify. That is your answer. Follow those 4 steps. Distribute the exponents, move the negative exponents to the other side. If they were on the bottom, you move them to the top. Combine like terms, multiply what you can, simplify the exponents. On the bottom you saw that y to the 30th, or x to the 30th, x to the 2nd, make x to the 32nd, y to the 6th, y to the 18th, make y to the 24th. And that's step 3. Step 4 says cancel. 4 over 64 made 1 over 16. The 2 x's on the top cancel 2 x's on the bottom, so there are 30 x's left on the bottom. The 6 y's on the top cancel 6 y's on the bottom, so out of 24 there are 18 left on the bottom. Nothing else to cancel, and that is your answer.